I see it. Yeah. Oh, in the background. Okay.
Syria.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Okay, guys, let's go that way. Background that way.
Good morning, everyone.
روح روح قول له نايس باك جراوند بس مجال خش قروي قروي خدش خلنا قروي وتزوم ان قطعنا بين فتشنش
Close, get closer.
لايف عيال
I like it.
اوكي السلام عليكم
Okay, sounds good.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming. And today we gather here to send a message to the United States and to the world that Assyria is occupied and its lands have been taken for many years. And today we're here to show the world that Assyrians want their land back. We want to restore Assyria. Before we begin, we need to acknowledge the country that we're in here, the United States, by uh, playing the United States national anthem as well as the Assyrian national anthem.
Free Assyria. It's not Kurdistan. It's Assyria.
The rockets declare the boats bursting in air. They prove through the night that our flag was still there. Most Okay, now we go to the Assyrian national anthem.
Retazzone kanaye, ya atata shubaye, Rabbiani karakrama, minnu naqatan sama. قضينا وعدنونا نسهلك لتجدونا من جديد سفينة أنت تضمن طولا قضينا تجدونا من جديد سفينة أنت تضمن طولا. إبراهيم جلفة جسمية رشقر أثاواتي شوف صيطة من إكرامية الطاير المراواتي كيف بشار الهاية أطش بصدق ختمايا صويا نبدون الصنانة تطلعنا على حياة كيف بشار الهاية أطش بصدق ختمايا صويا نبدون الصنانة تطلعنا على حياة.
Get a little bit closer. Okay.
Okay. So now we go back, and again, we want to send a message to the United States government. We want to say that we are forgotten in our homeland, in Assyria, in occupied Assyria. Each one of these signs that these protesters here that are holding, it means something. It is true, and it's happening every day in Assyria and in the Khabur villages in Syria. Every day there are bombings in our villages. Every day our people are kicked out of their lands, and no one is saying anything about it. And it is very sad, and that's why we are here to show the world and to show the United States to stop supporting the terrorist PKK in Syria and the Kurdish gangs that are in occupied Assyria. Enough is enough. We have to. Somebody has to speak up, and that's what we're here. We're here to speak up and to be the voice of our oppressed people, our oppressed Assyrians, in their own land. So that's why everybody is here, and that's why we're all here. Um, and we'll be here for the most part of the day to prove that Assyrians have been suffering from U.S. policies. We need a change, and we need a change now. We want everyone to see us. We want the whole world to see us. Assyria is occupied. I will start reading these signs. Save the Assyrian villages in Khabur. The Assyrian villages are being bombed every day. The Kurds, the Kurdish intruders are going and attacking Turkey from our Assyrian villages, and Turkey is responding back, is attacking back on our villages, and that is not supposed to be. That is not supposed to happen. Where is the justice? There is no justice here. Our villages in Assyria, in Nala, the same story. They're being attacked every day. We keep saying, our people keep saying, keep telling the Kurds, do not come in our lands, but who's there to listen? No back. Who's there to support us? Assyria is occupied. We should know that Assyria is occupied. There is no Kurdistan. It's Assyria. And just today, we just heard that in Derik al-Hasaka, the Kurdish just kidnapped an Assyrian girl, an Assyrian lady. We just heard while we were coming down here. So that should be as well. Someone has to hear us. We need justice for Assyria. There is no justice right now. We want a free Assyria. Everyone, reply back. We want a free Assyria.
Free Assyria.
We want a free Assyria. We want a free Assyria. Assyria is occupied. Assyria is occupied. Assyria is occupied. We want our back. That is something is not negotiable, honestly. That's why we're here. This is our first step, and we will not stop. We will make this a habit until our land is restored. Somebody has to hear our voice here. We are here to protest, to send a message. Again, we're sending a message to the U.S. government. And we're standing here against its policies because its policies are against the Assyrians. We need a change, and we need a change now. So if no, well, for the ones that don't know who Assyrians are one of the first civilizations of mankind. The name Assyria or Ashur means in Assyrian is Shuraya, which means the beginning. So we are the beginning, and we are still exist. And we are still in the struggle to exist. So when the intruders, such as the Kurds, come into our land, we must speak up because we want our land back. It's been taken from us. It's been occupied for over a century, for many years. But today, we are here and we're saying that today is a start, but it's not going to end. It's going to continue until someone hears our voice. And we need more people. We need more Assyrians to support us. We want our people here. This is where we should be. This is where we should be. If we are true Assyrians, this is where we should be, and this is where we should try to be nationalists. Because land is everything. I want to mention it again, and we'll be mentioning it again. An Assyrian girl in Derik al-Hasaka just today was kidnapped by the Kurdish PKK. Just today, as we were coming down here, we heard the news. And we want somebody to listen to us. Someone has to listen to us. If there is justice in this world, somebody has to listen to us. We gave the world most, and the girl's name is Rasha Shamoun. That's the kidnapped girl in Derik al-Hasaka. Our villages in Nala are being attacked every day because of the Kurds. And the US keeps supporting the Kurds, even though they are intruders in a foreign land for them. It's not their land, it's our land. It's Assyria. It's called Assyria because for a reason. Yet today it is occupied. We have everyone should know that. It was Assyria 6,000 years ago and more, maybe 8,000 years ago, and it's still Assyria today. So why should it change all of a sudden? The reason we're standing here today is because our land is occupied. We are in the diaspora because our lands are occupied. I did not choose to leave my land. I was forced to leave my land. And so was my grandfather. We were forced out of our land. People should listen to that because the United States is always about justice. So here we are. We're asking justice from the United States. If there is justice, then Assyria should be restored. Again, we repeat, there is no Kurdistan. I'm not going to mention the name because it does not exist. It does not exist. It's only Assyria. We want a free Assyria. And Assyria is occupied by the Kurds. It is occupied by the Kurds. I will repeat it 100 times, 1,000 times. It doesn't matter. I'll keep repeating it my whole life. Assyria is occupied. And we want the US to interfere and stop the bombing in Assyria and Khabur. We need to stop. We need a change. Assyria is occupied. Assyria is for Assyrians. It is Assyria for a reason. We are Assyrian for a reason because our land is called Assyria. Americans are Americans because they belong to the land. And we belong to Assyria. And that's why we're here today. The Kurds, they belong to a different land. I mean, they came in as intruders many years ago, and they still are intruders. They still are occupiers. They are foreigners in our land. They are foreigners in Assyria. And we send this message to all Assyrians around the world. We want them to hear our voice so they can protest in their cities, in their countries. We want everybody to stand up for injustice. And we need justice for Assyria. And again, I will repeat, Assyria is occupied by the Kurds. Assyria is occupied by the Kurds. We need a change. We need the United States to listen. They should listen if they're about justice. We are people just like everybody in the world. Why shouldn't we have a country if everybody else does? We deserve a country. We deserve a land. Why should we be quiet if our land is being occupied? And we will not be quiet as long as our land is occupied. We start here today, and tomorrow we'll be somewhere else in the world, in the United States, in a different city. We'll be everywhere until our message is received and until our voices are heard. I'll put the mic around for other people to speak.
As many of you guys aren't aware, Assyria is the original civilization. We have invented many things. You wouldn't be driving the cars you're in now if it wasn't for the Assyrian invention. So when you think, how does this affect me? Why should we listen to you guys? It's because what we're going through is a reflection on the world we live in today. We are allowing our villages to be bombed when they shouldn't be. We should be living in peace and harmony with our neighbors. Our land being occupied is just how America is occupying the lands of the natives. They've made their peace, now we need ours. Assyrians have suffered countless years of injustice, not in our community, but all over the world. We are here today because of the diaspora that the Middle East has put us in. We are in this situation after countless years of genocide and oppression. We are here in America because we aren't allowed to live free in our own land. Being Assyrian, it means you have to be proud of who you are. It's not for everybody. And not everybody is here today because they want to. It's because they have to. Being an Assyrian is having a responsibility of having representation in the world. We oftentimes are getting erased by people such as the Kurds and the Arabs, and that needs to stop because we are here. We have been here first, and we are not leaving anytime soon. We have been here for 6,772 years, and that's only counting. After countless years of genocide and oppression and our land being taken away, we are still managing to thrive in other communities in America, Australia, Canada, and France. We are all over the world, and this is just the beginning. We will not stop till Assyria is free. Again, we will not stop until Assyria is freed. Yes!
I just want everyone to know that over 600,000 Assyrians are here, are living in the United States and in the diaspora for a reason, because they were basically expelled from their lands. They were kicked out of their lands. And 95% of the Assyrian population is living in the diaspora in the US, in Europe, in Australia, in Canada, due to the occupation of their land, due to the foreigner intruders like the Kurds. That should be well known. It is a fact, and it cannot be changed. And it should be changed by restoring Assyria. Period. That should be it. There's no, it's not negotiable.
Um, Hello. Growing up, I've heard countless times not many people know who my people are. Being Assyrian is something you have to be proud of, and it's very hard oftentimes when you grow up in these white communities, predominantly white, I should say, because they don't know anything about our history. And it's tough going to schools when you're hearing about Polish history, American history, Native American history, and you're not hearing about Assyrian history. When Assyrians are the reason why we're here today, the empires we built are the reason why everybody has everything they have today. And it's with our people that we continue to push, strive for the best that we can give to our people only, because we don't have outside help. We've been asking for outside help and we don't receive it. So that's why our people are here today to continue to push and ask for this help. So please come join us in this protest and please come help us spread the word to free Assyria and finally give us the recognition that we need. Thank you.
Free Assyria! 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 Honestly, we can keep going on. We'll never get tired of it.
I just want to say 90% of Assyrian living in diaspora because the American policy, because they are supporting the Kurds, because they are supporting PKK, which is terrorist organization. Stop supporting PKK in Syria and stop supporting the Kurds gang in occupied Assyria, which is northern Iraq. The Assyrians are surviving in Badr, in Nahla, in Jallik, in Tel Tawil in Syria, Tel Jum'ah, Khabur villages Stop. Enough is enough. We want our country back, our homeland. We want action from American government. USA, stop supporting terrorists, PKK. Stop the bombing in Assyria and Khabur villages. And we are asking all Assyrians around the world, in Europe, Australia, Canada, Germany, Sweden, everywhere, protest against this policy. United Nations should hear us. Free Assyria. Please, everyone join us. Everyone join us, please. Assyria is occupied. We need justice for Assyrian people. We need justice for Assyria, the first civilization in the world. Stop this dirty policy.
Free Assyria.
There is no Kurdistan. It is Assyria, past, present, and future. And it's always gonna be Assyria. أنا بيهمس. Today we have a news from northeastern Syria, Al-Hasaka city. PKK kidnapping a girl. Her name is Rasha Shamaoun. And still, American government supporting PKK.
So we want to point out that whenever there's any news about Assyria being occupied or Assyrians suffering or being oppressed, we never hear it on U.S. news media or any media at all. It's always been ignored. We've always been ignored. And we're here to say, stop ignoring us. We are people. And we deserve a land, just like everybody else does. Someone has to look to us, and if there is anyone deserving a land, it is us. It is Assyrians. We deserve a land just like any other country, and maybe more. No nation is older than us. No civilization is older than ours. but we're still managing to exist. Yet we should be looked up to, and we should be looked at, and we should not be forgotten. It is Assyria. It's not Kurdistan or anything else. It's Assyria only, and only Assyria. Assyria since the beginning of time. And it should always be Assyria. This is not negotiable. USA, stop supporting terrorist PKK. Repeat. USA, stop supporting terrorist PKK. USA, stop supporting terrorist PKK. Assyria is occupied. Assyria is occupied. Assyria is occupied.
Syria is occupied.
Free Assyria.
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 Free Assyria. Free Assyria.
Today, Assyria has occupied our land, our homeland, our homes have been taken over by illegal occupiers, by the Kurdish government. They keep pushing for the oppression of our people. They keep taking our lands slowly and surely, keep on encroaching and taking over our land more and more. We've been oppressed for hundreds of years, and our people have been persecuted and suffered through the many different wars that happened in the Gulf War, that happened in the recent 2003 illegal war that has waged. Our people were the main people that suffered. We are the indigenous Christian people that occupied these lands for thousands and years. And now almost nobody left, and our homes and our lands being taken over by Kurds over there. So it's time for the U.S. government to stop supporting the Kurds and give our homelands and our homes back to the rightful owners,
which is the Assyrians, us. We are not Iraqi Christians. We are not Syrian Christians. We are Assyrians. Why does everybody refuse to call us by our rightful names? We are Assyrians. Every time I hear somebody talk about Christians in the news, it's always Iraqi Christians or Syrian Christians or whoever. We are not these people. Our names, our identity, who we are Assyrians. Absolutely, absolutely. So the Assyrians, I mean, our people have occupied their land thousands of years. Human history is a very long and complicated history going back to the Assyrian Empire, like I said, thousands. So when Muslims came, the Ottoman Empire came, all of those people, hundreds of years ago, we were looking for our religion, we were looking for our lands kicked out at the mountainsides of that region, Egypt, being Iraq, Syria, Iran, Turkey. So our people were throughout that region. And I understand not all empires left, but our lands, uh, those are incidents, those are lands that we occupied, like I said, thousands of years. So as the time came, with all the different governments that came, different religions and everything else throughout the region, that entire time, our people, religion or beliefs that have our people did it. The Muslims were more difficult for them to be attacked or something else. Fast forward to modern times. Now, the Iraqi government come in, and we had many different massacres happen.
And I want to repeat again, our people, our fellow Assyrians in occupied Assyria and Khabur, they cannot voice their opinions on what's happening They cannot speak up because they're being oppressed. So we here are their voice. We are the voice of our brothers and sisters in Assyria. We are the voice of our people in Khabur. We are sending a message. We are speaking for them. And for us, we were able to escape. But some of them cannot escape. And they should not escape. They should be living in their land peacefully, just like everybody else in the world is, just like everyone here in the United States is. We should be living in our country peacefully, without having to worry that someone will come and grab our land, without worrying that someone will come and grab my home and kick me out of our house, of our homes. That is something every day. That is something that an Assyrian has to worry or keeps in his mind on a daily basis. That nothing is guaranteed in his own home, in their own villages, in their own land. And that is not justice at all. We are here because we want a free Assyria. And we will keep coming here. We will keep coming back. We will not stop. We will never stop. We want a free Assyria. 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 Assyria is occupied. Assyria is occupied. And we want a free Assyria. We want a free Assyria. We want a free Assyria now. 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 Free Assyria. Free Assyria. Free Assyria. Free Assyria. Free Assyria. Whenever someone in occupied Assyria speaks up and voices his or her opinion, they are always in prison. 99% of the time, or 100% of the time, they are in prison. And that's why they cannot speak up. And that's why we are speaking for them. That's why we are here. Because we have contacts with our brothers and sisters. And that's what this is the message they relate to us, that they cannot speak up, so we should speak for them. And that's why we're here. That's why we ask every Assyrian in the world, every Assyrian, every single Assyrian, young and old, we should all know that Assyria is occupied. The whole world should know that Assyria is occupied. It's time to change. It's time to change that. It's time to free Assyria. We should be here, young and old. And this is not going to stop. This is a message to all Assyrians that if you're not here today, then we will for sure have another protest. So we ask you to join us on the next one. Our people deserve our time. This is the least we can do for them. The least we can do for our people is speak up for them. They are suffering on a daily basis. And they should not be going through all that. And again, repeating that we're here to say to the US government, please stop supporting the Kurds. They are intruders in our land. That should be a well-known. It's a fact from history, it's a fact from present, it's a fact that we hope is not going to be for the future.
We want to say to the American government, not everything they see on TV is true. Kurdish people or Kurdish organization, they are terrorists. They are not saving Assyrian. They are not saving Assyrian Christian. They were the reason ISIS entered the Assyrian village in Syria. And they were the reason the ISIS entered in occupied Assyria, Nineveh plain. Stop supporting those terrorists. Stop supporting those gangs. They are not saving the Assyrian. They are the reason why the Assyrians living in diaspora. 90% of Assyrian living in diaspora because the Kurds, not because we want to leave our land. That's not true. The gangs in occupied Assyria, they are illegally grabbing land every day. Our people, Assyrian,
This is for all the Assyrians around the world. It is time that we unite as one people. One people. Come together as one voice, all of us Assyrians throughout the world. Stop with all of this separation. We need to come as one voice and one people. There is no Chaldeans, there is no any other Syriac or Syrian people. We are all Assyrian. It's time for our churches to unite as one voice to support our people. It's time for all of you around the world to also stand up and say that Assyria is occupied. Assyrians have been persecuted and killed and murdered. And it's time for now to make our voices heard. Let all of the governments around the world hear our voices, know that we are here.
أرض قادت بيخا وررها بقرايا بسنا بنونا كشيخا والياخذ بمرايا هذه القرن قادت بيخا وررها بقرايا بسنا بنونا كشيخا والياخذ بمرايا سبا